Hi students, this is Mrs. Marinelli for Business 268. We are working on lesson 9 today, multiplying 3 or more factors, and this starts on page 54. There are different ways to do multiplying with more than two numbers. One is called continuous multiplication and the other non-continuous. If you do non-continuous, which means, for example, 2.2 times 3.5 equals, take that answer times 5.9 equals, that would round more, and so your answer would actually end up being bigger than what it should be. So we're going to use we're going to use continuous multiplication, or some people call it chain multiplication, with 3 or more factors, meaning that we will multiply the numbers and not hit equals until the very end, so the rounding will be closer to the correct answer. So looking on page, I think we can go straight to page 56. If you notice, there are different number of places past the decimal in each problem. So we will need to add the decimal places in each multiplier to know what to set our decimal at before we work the problem. So looking at number 1 on page 56, there are no numbers past the decimal. So your decimal would be set at 0. Number 2, 1.8 has one number past the decimal. 3.43 has 2. 36 doesn't have any. So you take the 1 plus the 2, the 1 in the first number plus the 2 in the second number equals 3. So your answer needs to be 3 places past the decimal. Number 3 has 2 places past the decimal. So you set your decimal at 2. And even if the answer comes out with zeros, you still have 2 places past the decimal. So you will be changing your decimal place on these. So I'll do number 2, which has 1, 2, 3 places past the decimal. So I'm going to set my decimal at 3. Work my problem with continuous multiplication. So 1.8 times 3.43 times 36. Now hit equals. So my answer is 222.264. So that's it for page 56. Page 57. This is showing you a real-life problem for continuous multiplication. If you are buying carpet or flooring, length times width times the cost per square foot. Length times width gives you your square feet times the cost per square foot. So 12 times 12, you should memorize that. It's going to be 144. A dozen times a dozen is a gross. Times $9.50 gives you how much you're going to charge for whatever this item is. So this is money, so you need dollar signs. And on my test, you guys, I don't put the dollar sign for you like the book does. You need to know to put the dollar sign. And even if it's zeros, you need 2 places past the decimal. So I'm going to change my decimal place to 2. So it's length 12 times 12, don't hit enter, continuous multiplication, times 9.5 equals. So it's going to cost $1,368.00 to rent or purchase whatever this item is. So length times width is square foot times price is the cost for that item, cost per square foot. Page 58 is price times quantity, which we did before in a previous chapter, but now you are adding the sales tax. Okay, so our sales tax is way more than this, but this sales tax is 2%. So I can either take the price times quantity and then multiply that by the sales tax and then add it to the price, which is a long way to do it, or I can add 100% to the tax, which would take the price times the quantity, that answer, which is 100%, and then add that number to the sales tax. So instead of taking it times the 2% and getting the sales tax, my problem will add it into the answer. So 4 times 9.95, and I'm not going to equals that out. I'm going to take that times 1, which is 100%, which is the answer of 4 times 9.95, 0.02, which is the sales tax. So I'm adding the sales tax to the 4 times the 9.95. So my answer is $40.60. Now, if you need to know the sales tax, you'll have to work it out differently. But if you can go straight from the price times quantity right into the total sale, it saves a step. So again, let's just say it's 4 times 10. 4 times 10 is 100. 4 times 10 is 40. Okay. And then if I take it times 1.02, the 1 puts the 40 back into the problem, and the 0.02 is the amount of tax. So I'm adding the problem and the tax together in one step. Page 59. For all of these, set your decimal at 4. Even if there's a 0, you need 4 places past the decimal. You're just practicing more of the same of multiplying 3 or more factors. So you're getting good decimal practice, good multiplication practice. So continuous multiplication. And let me see if I can do this. So if I take 4 times 10, that equals 40. And then if I need to do the sales tax, I'd have to take it times the sales tax. So for 40 times 0.02 is 80 cents. So then I would have to take the 40 and add the 80 cents. Okay, that's too much work. So instead, notice that I had to put the 40 back in. So that 40 is 100% of my total. The tax is 2%. Okay, So 102% is the same as 1.02. So 4 times 10 times 1.02 equals 40.80. So price times quantity times the 1 adds that answer back in, and you're adding the 2% tax. So you can do that in continuous multiplication instead of all of that work. So I'm not sure if you've had business 295, but this is the math that hopefully you remember. I hope this hasn't been a long time. It's not that easy to relearn. I mean, it's not that hard, excuse me, not that hard to relearn. You can do it. So that's the end of chapter 10, mixed operations. I'm sorry, chapter 9, and you are doing continuous multiplication, not non-continuous, because then on some problems, if you do non-continuous, it's going to round up too many times and your answer will be too big. Make it a great day.